Did you know that the Paleto Bay heist in GTA 5 was inspired by a real-life robbery? Seriously guys, this fact blew my mind. And in this video, I'm bringing you 30 more fascinating curiosities about GTA 5 missions. By the way, I've already shared over 90 fun facts here on the channel, and this type of content is one of my favorites to make because it's packed with amazing references and details. Many times while we're caught up in the main storyline of the game, we end up overlooking some really cool curiosities, guys. And in this video, I'm bringing you even more. So make sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss anything. Without further ado, let's get started. Let's start with the mission Predator. In this mission, guys, it's where we can see Bigfoot for the first time. You can even try to shoot at him, but he just vanishes. I've tried looking for him in other ways myself, but it's just not possible, guys. Another fun fact about this mission is that it's the only mission in the game where you can basically play with 4 characters: Trevor, Michael, Franklin, and even Chop. Now, talking about the mission Derailed, one of its trophies references CJ. To earn the Better Than CJ trophy, or actually the completion checkmark, you need to land on the train on your first try. Additionally, this is the only mission in the game where you can control a train. Outside of this mission, trains are completely inaccessible and uncontrollable as there's no way to operate them. A curious detail about this mission is that Trevor seems almost immortal, or at least the mission feels pretty overpowered. That's because during the cutscene when he jumps off the train, he doesn't die. However, if you try to do the same thing during normal gameplay, Trevor will end up dying. In my opinion, it doesn't make much sense, especially considering the beginning of the scene where parts of the train are falling, which is way more dangerous. Additionally, if you manage to win the race with Michael, who's driving a car, which is much harder than winning with Trevor, who's on a bike, Michael will mock Trevor at the end of the mission. Trevor, furious and grumbling, will storm into his HQ visibly irritated. In the mission The Palo Score, if you choose the hacker Packy McCreary, he'll share his backstory and even talk about Nico Bellic, the protagonist of GTA 4, mentioning the famous bank heist in Liberty City.
What is interesting is my biggest job, the Bank of Liberty City.
Ah, shit, yeah. I heard you were part of the crew that took that down.
I ran the crew. It was me, my brother Derek, God rest his soul, my pal Michael, God rest his soul, and another boy, Nico, who's probably dead too.
They're all dead. Must have been jinxed, huh?
All I know is I live to tell the tale. We went in, my pal Michael gets shot. I take down the hero who did it, then we blow the vault, take the money, and meet half the LCPD coming out. The cops are outside, they're in the street, down the alleys, they're in the subway. We just keep moving and shooting, moving and shooting. Climbed out the subway, found a car, and we were away.
Sounds like you were the right guy to bring along on this. Let's just hope we ain't jinxed as well.
If you choose Norm Richards, you'll witness him die in a brutal way during the mission. Despite this tragic outcome, Michael seems proud of Norm's effort. There's a bug you can exploit to ensure Norm Richards or any other low-level gunman survives. Near the final part of the heist, after destroying the 3 wooden fences, head into the alleyway on the right, exactly where the police vehicle that kills Norm will spawn. Once there, plant several sticky bombs and continue the mission. After the cutscene, the police vehicle will turn to run over Norm Richards. At this point, detonate the sticky bombs to destroy the vehicle. You need to be quick and place the bombs in the right spot. If done correctly, Norm Richards or any other low-tier gunman will survive. It's actually funny because the game isn't programmed for these characters to live, so the dialogue lines regarding the survivor will change as if you had chosen Gustavo Mota or another high-tier gunman. When you arrive at the bank, you leave the van outside, but when you exit the bank, it mysteriously disappears. This forces the crew to escape in another way. This is the mission where we see the largest military and police response in the entire game, even bigger than in the big score, despite the amount stolen being much smaller. I think Rockstar really messed up here because even the military shows up, whereas in larger heists, they don't even make an appearance. Curiously, if you try to escape to another location with the tractor, the mission won't fail and you won't get caught either. You can drive the excavator anywhere in the game without facing any issues, which is, at the very least, quite strange. Fun fact I'm sure many of you didn't know, the Paleto Bay heist was inspired by a real-life shootout. Both the outfits and the intense gunfight, which resulted in multiple casualties and destruction, are reminiscent of the North Hollywood shootout that occurred in 1997. There are videos about it on YouTube and it's worth watching to spot the similarities. It's not 100% identical, but it's pretty close, especially in terms of the advanced weaponry for the time and the tactical gear that allowed the criminals to move and shoot without worrying about getting hit. In the mission deep inside, we have to steal a car belonging to a special agent called the JB-700. For those who didn't catch the reference, JB stands for James Bond, and 700 reversed is 007. This mission is a clear homage to the James Bond films and the 007 franchise. I'll admit it took me a while to notice this, but I think it's genius on Rockstar's part. Another interesting thing about this mission is that typically you're supposed to approach the actor, knock him out, and use his disguise to impersonate him and steal the car. However, this isn't mandatory. You can grab any vehicle or even walk straight to the location, get in, and steal the car. Of course, doing it this way makes the mission much harder because there are several security guards in the studio, but it's still an alternative way to complete it. In the mission Monkey Business, although Franklin appears, he isn't used as a protagonist at any point. Trevor even comments on this, complaining that Franklin took the easy way out by heading straight to the hangar. This mission also reveals an interesting detail. It's the first time we learn that Trevor ripped off or injured Martin Madrazo's ear. This isn't mentioned earlier, not even when he kidnaps Patricia and talks to Michael. He simply says that he and Madrazo had their disagreements. It's in this mission that we truly get a sense of Trevor's level of violence. In the mission Bury the Hatchet, we see a contrast in Rockstar's attention to detail. On one hand, the town hasn't been updated to reflect the passage of time. It looks exactly the same, with the same posters and even the population sign remaining unchanged. On the other hand, this mission is a prime example of Rockstar's ability to craft deep narratives. It presents two different perspectives. The first shows Michael's side, revealing how he had to make a deal to protect his family and pull them out of the criminal world. This helps you understand his perspective, framing the deal not as a betrayal but as the only possible way out, which leads many fans to side with him. However, if you start this mission with Trevor, it takes on a completely different tone, focused entirely on betrayal. From this perspective, we see Trevor utterly furious with what Michael did, and the only thing he cares about is finding out whether Michael was truly a traitor, going so far as to let Brad be buried in his place. This suggests that Michael may have known the heist was a setup from the start, or even orchestrated it himself. Depending on how you approach this mission, you can see completely different perspectives. In one, you might believe Michael truly deserves forgiveness for what he did. In another, it might seem like he deserves to die, as Trevor implies when leaving him to fend for himself in fresh meat. It's really sinister, guys, and to this day some fans are still undecided about which side is truly right. An important detail about this mission is that even after 9 years, Brad's body remains completely recognizable. This is likely because he's buried in a very cold place, which slows down decomposition. There are real-life locations where this happens, and in some extremely cold villages, it's even prohibited to bury people who died from contagious diseases. Since the bodies don't decompose, traces of the virus can still be present. It's pretty eerie. Another curious point about this mission is that when exploring the city of North Yankton, you'll notice it feels quite incomplete. Many elements seem to be missing, and I believe this is due to the storage limitations of GTA 5's original release, especially on the Xbox 360. Back then, the game required an additional disc and a USB drive to run, highlighting the storage constraints. This likely forced Rockstar to make the city simpler and less detailed. However, with the newer consoles, I think this is something they should have addressed. Finally, if you deviate from the script at any point during this mission, it will immediately fail. This highlights how the mission was designed to be highly linear, leaving no room for improvisation by the player and, unfortunately, no opportunity for exploration. In the mission Fresh Meat, if you flee the mission area without eliminating the remaining Triad members, the game might freeze and crash, forcing you to restart it. I have no idea why this happens, but it seems to be a peculiar bug. Additionally, you can shoot the Triad member standing next to Michael, knocking him into the meat grinder. Strangely enough, he'll keep screaming even after being shot in the head, which seems to be a glitch in the game. This mission is one of the most brutal in GTA 5, featuring several violent deaths, such as people falling into meat grinders, hot oil, and possibly even acid. It's definitely an intense mission, and you need to have a strong stomach for it because, my friend, there's a lot of death. In the mission Reuniting the Family, you have to bring Jimmy, Tracy, and Amanda back together. If you use completely random vehicles like a garbage truck, they'll all get in without making any comments about your choice, creating a funny and surreal scene. During this mission, we also learned that Amanda had multiple extramarital affairs involving the tennis coach, the yoga instructor, Jimmy's teacher, and even the therapist. It's a moment where her past comes to light, and it's shocking to see how both Michael and Amanda have such a troubled relationship.
We gotta work at fixing it.
We do. All of us.
Yes, Mom.
For real, peeps.
Because I started to understand something in there. No one else gets this family. Not Dr. Friedlander, or my yoga teacher, or our tennis coach, or the juice guy, or the dog walker.
Oh, hey. Oh.
Or Jimmy's third grade teacher.
Or the trash guy.
Or Dad's proctologist.
Or the guy that thinks he's Jesus on Vespucci Beach.
Or the hippie bum who thinks the world is ending.
We're stuck with each other.
Something peculiar is that, from the start of the session at Dr. Friedlander's office, the discussion focuses exclusively on Michael and Amanda. The doctor remains silent for most of the time, only speaking at the end to wrap up the session and inform them that he'll charge 4 times the usual fee due to the intensity of the argument. It's a scene that highlights the troubled relationship between the two and also proves how much the doctor was just in it for the money. I also heard that after this mission, Laszlo mentions on the Fame or Shame show that Tracy is one of the best contestants, but the judges didn't agree with him. At that moment, Laszlo supposedly makes a live plea for Michael not to kill him, begging for his life.
That was fantastic. I mean, amazing, especially the ho-ho-oh part. I'm really from the heart. Judges, I have to say, I'm thinking if you go the wrong way on this, it could be the end of a lot of promising careers. All right, we're going to go to commercials and we'll come back with the judge's decision. Seriously, guys, vote the right way because a maniac's going to fucking kill me.
The all-new...
Finally, in the mission Meltdown, we discover that Michael's house is the only one in the game with internal destruction textures. This is likely because during this mission, a full-blown battle takes place inside the house, making it impossible for it to remain intact. After the mission, you can call Devon to discuss what happened. Devon blames Molly for the events, mentioning that both she and he were involved in something related to women. This interaction adds more context to the storyline and highlights the complexities of Devon's involvement with Michael and his family.
Hey, you missed the show, buddy. Trouble at home?
You came for my family, asshole?
Oh, I thought going after women was fair game.
Molly died in an accident while following your orders, and I'm sorry for that, okay?
Well, accidents happen, don't they?
Hey, send your private army after me if you have to, pal. I won't be hiding.
And guys, so far I've shared over 120 amazing curiosities about GTA 5 missions, and I'm already preparing another epic video for you. If you're enjoying this, click on the video indicated by the arrow to check out part 3 of this series. And that's today's video. Don't forget to subscribe and like. Take care and bye.